All right. Good morning, everyone. And we are on Mix 1041. We're on MixTV.tv. I am so glad to have you with us here. We're joined by MedicareMisty on Mix 1041 and MixTV.tv. And by the way, what are we on here, Misty?
We're on Facebook Live.
With MedicareMisty.
Woohoo!
Hey, guys. You are now. My name's Steve. You're looking at Mix 1041 here in Cleveland, Tennessee. Misty, it's so great to meet you. I've seen you for years and heard about you. Just for those who may have just moved here, tell us about yourself a little bit.
So I do everything Medicare, obviously with the name. So if you're moving here and you're on Medicare, you're probably going to need to change your plan because you have to take a plan out in the area that you live in. If you don't move here, a big change is coming up for 2025 with Medicare for the first time ever. They're getting rid of the donut hole. This means your premium's probably going to be way more expensive. Copays could be different, more expensive. Pay attention to the annual notice of coverage letter because I don't want in January to go to the pharmacy and then you realize now your medicine's $400 when it used to be $40. Yeah, it's a big difference. It's a good thing they're getting rid of the donut hole, but when you get rid of something, you're going to have to pay somewhere else. So,
we're joined by MedicareMisty. What interested you when you got into this about Medicare specifically?
nothing. I didn't even know what it was. I'm like half of you out there. So I was at Unum Provident, and Unum Provident had a layoff, as many as they, have had. I was there from Paul Revere, from Unum Provident to Unum, and I didn't make it the last time that they did their cut, which was a God thing. And I interviewed 25 times for pharmaceutical. 25 times, never got the position, which I wanted. All my friends were in pharmaceutical, talking about the car, the gas card. I was a single mom at that time. And this lady come in, she says, "Hey, do you want to do Medicare?" And I said, this is 19 years ago. Yeah, I said, "What's Medicare?" And she laughed. She goes, "You don't know what Medicare is?" And I said, "No, I had no idea I was even paying for Medicare through FICA. I had no idea that's what FICA was." So I'm all like y'all that didn't understand. I started just like that. And 3 months in, I wanted to quit. I told her, I said, "This is too hard. I'm never going to understand this." And I hope that gives somebody hope that's out there about ready to quit, because just think if I'd have quit, there'd be no MedicareMisty. I wouldn't have been able to help thousands of people that I get to help. So don't give up. Just keep going, keep plugging. And you and I talked about that on the air, off the air before earlier on what it takes to be successful. Being here since you're 15 years old, that's absolutely amazing.
Well, I wouldn't describe this as me being successful, even though I've been here so long. No.
It's still going.
It does take, it takes a lot. We're joined by MedicareMisty, and so what, when people come in and they, like you said, they don't know, they're confused, whatever. How do you talk to those people? How do you deal with them?
Well, if they're brand new, I just start with the ABCs. What is Medicare? Because yes, you're paying for it, but has anybody ever sat down and said, "Hey, this is FICA, this is Medicare. You're paying for Part A right now, which is hospitalization. As long as you work 10 years, 40 quarters, you don't have to pay for A when you're retired." No, none of us. We just go and hope that it all works out. So I just start with that, saying this is what it is. This is how you paid for it. This is what it's going to cost, because B cost, A doesn't cost, as long as you work those 10 years, 40 quarters. And then once they understand that, there's two, and I hate to call it rabbit holes, but it really is, two ways that you can go in Medicare: the Advantage Plan route or the Supplement route. And I show both of them the routes and say which one sounds best to you and show them the difference. And then they decide which way to go down that one way. And then there's 38 options down that way to go. So once they decide which way to go, I make it easier. We get their doctors or medication, what's coming up in the future, what to look for. I mean, you can't plan for accidents, but you at least know, well, my max out of pocket is this if anything bad happens. So I just start from A and go all the way to the end, and hopefully at the end they're like, either it's clear as mud and they'll call me if something happens, or they're like, "I got it, thank you. You made it simpler than, reading that book."
And I can tell that you personalize it. It's not just a cookie cut.
No, you can't.
No.
Yeah.
No.
And I do all the products, which is nice too. I don't just do one company and say my company's the best. I'm a broker, so whatever plan best fits you, I'm able to do it. And I did that for that exact reason, because I started out captive with one company. Okay. And, everybody would say, "Well, I'm going to review with someone else." I don't hear that anymore, because I do all the plans. There's no use to go out and review, with anybody else.
We're joined by MedicareMisty, who I'm so glad to meet. I've heard about you for so long. We've got a lot of mutual friends, one of them being my buddy Clint Powell.
Hi, Clint.
Hello, Clint Powell. Hey, Misty, and that's another thing. How did all this happen for you? I mean, you and I were talking about a little off the air about it, to where really, I mean, you have just become almost, for folks here and been here a while, they know who you are. I mean, how does that happen?
And it's hard work, like we talked about, and it's consistency. It's getting out there when you don't feel good. It's getting out there when your child's sick. It's getting out there when the bills aren't being paid. It's keep showing up, keep making connections, keep networking. And every day, I mean, I still go as hard as I did day one. And sometimes my agents may even tell you probably harder, because they're always like, are you a robot? Do you ever sleep? But as a business owner, you can relate, Steve. I mean, it is your baby. And you're always wondering, how can I do it better? How can I do it different? How can I help more people? And that keeps you up at night. And if it doesn't keep you up at night, then you're in the wrong business.
That's right.
Or I want to know what you're doing, because I'd love to sleep a little bit more. Would be amazing.
Yeah.
And that is it, not giving up, believing in what your goal is, what your plan is. Because a lot of people, there's been some negativity. I got my first website negativity, and I share this for you to know that no matter how big you get, you're still going to have someone that's going to be ugly. And he said, your commercials are dumb, 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 dumb. And I was like, oh, and you can get your feelings hurt and say, okay, well, I'm not going to work anymore. I'm going to quit because all my stuff, or I'm going to change everything. But you have to believe in what you're doing, keep going, and that negativity is going to come. And one of my girlfriends posted on a podcast saying the same thing. You think it's easy being an entrepreneur. It's just like being human, but now you're out there 10 times more, so 10 times more chance of getting, that kind of negative feedback.
Can I say something, though? At least the man had paid attention to the commercial enough. I mean, that's
Right.
sort of the point, too, though. I mean,
Right.
anyway. Well, let's go ahead and get your contact information out there, because I'd say we got a lot of people who are interested.
MedicareMisty.com is the best way. We're local. One number gets to all 5 offices. So we have one here locally, Hickson, off of Shallowford Road, downtown Chattanooga, and we just opened our Ringgold. It'll be August 1st. So I'm so excited about that. So it's 423-777-5577. That's the one office that will get you to any of the offices. Just call. We'd love to have you. Please, this year, I'm begging anybody listening, October 15th to December 7th is a need for you to check out your plan this year. It's not a need for you to be like, I don't want to deal with that anymore. I know the phone calls are terrible. They're probably going to be more terrible this year because of this change. And please do not talk to strangers like when you're young. Stranger danger.
Yeah.
Talk to somebody locally.
It'll hurt you in the end if you do that. MedicareMisty.com. Boy, I'm glad to have you on
Well,
today.
thank you
It's
so much
great
for
meeting
having
you.
me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
One entrepreneur to another. Y'all got to check out his station, 104.1 in Cleveland, Tennessee, and your show.
Yes, that's right. In the mornings.
In the
6 to
mornings.
9, yeah.
See, if you're up, you got to watch it.
That's
You're
right.
missing out if not.
That's right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
MixedTV.tv. And hey, MedicareMisty followers, hello there. You're following a wonderful person right here, I guarantee you. MedicareMisty.com, and we're back in a moment.